Part one, when nothing's moving but everything's working. Let me talk to somebody who's been waiting, not for a few days, not a few weeks, but for years. You've done everything they told you. You've prayed, believed, worked hard, kept your head up, and still life feels like it's standing still. Like everybody got the green light but you. Like the whole world moving, and you're just sitting there, foot on the brake, waiting on something to change. Now, I know that feeling. I've lived that season. The one where the hallway gets longer than the destination. The one where the prayers turn into silence. And you start wondering, did I hear wrong? Did I miss my moment? But let me tell you what I've learned. In the quiet places where no one claps, God does his best work in the unseen. See, we think nothing's happening, but underneath the surface, God is moving, rearranging, protecting, building the foundation so the thing don't collapse when it finally shows up. But here's the challenge. Can you hold on to peace when there's no proof yet? Because it's easy to celebrate the outcome, but can you honor the process? Can you trust the silence? Can you be faithful when your name ain't being called? That's where your strength lives. That's where the peace comes from. That's where faith stops being a word and starts being a walk. Everybody wants to promise. Nobody wants to pause. But baby, to pause, that's where your power matures. That's where the shallow things break off you. That's where you learn to lean, not on people, not on timing, but on purpose. See, when you're in the waiting, it feels like you're being overlooked. But God don't overlook. He prepares. He puts you in rooms you didn't ask to enter because he knows your name's about to be called. But he also knows if you walk through that door too soon, what was meant to elevate you might expose you. So he waits, he hides, he covers, not because he's late, but because he loves you too much to let you show up unready. So if you're in the wait, don't rush it, don't curse it, don't compare it. Instead, look around and ask, what's growing in me that couldn't grow in the spotlight? What character is being shaped that applause can't form? What healing is happening that only quiet could bring? Because one day when it does happen, when the yes shows up, when the door opens, when the right hand gets extended, you'll look back at this waiting season and say, that's where I found my strength. That's where I learned to believe, even when I couldn't see. That's where I became unshakable. Not because you got what you wanted, but because you learned who you were while you waited. Part two, the weight of waiting. Holding on when letting go looks easy. There's a moment in the waiting where it don't feel quiet anymore. It starts feeling heavy. You wake up with a question mark in your spirit. You walk around with dreams that feel too far to reach. People ask how you're doing and you say, I'm good. But inside you're screaming, I don't know how much longer I can carry this. That kind of weight is different. It's not just time passing. It's time testing you, testing your belief, testing your energy, testing your willingness to keep watering a seed that hasn't sprouted yet. And I want you to know, if that's you, if you've been patient so long that even your faith feels tired, you are not weak. You're walking through one of the strongest seasons of your life because anybody can shout on the mountaintop. But it takes a warrior to whisper faith in the valley. Let me say that again. It takes a warrior not to shout, not to run, not to post about it, but to whisper faith when you got no proof. To say, I still believe when your hands are empty. That's not delusion, that's strength. Now here's the truth, they don't put on social media. Sometimes what you're waiting on is also waiting on you. It's waiting on you to heal, waiting on you to stop looking at everybody else's lane, waiting on you to unclench your fist long enough to receive what's already been placed in front of you. Sometimes God slows the delivery because he's working on your capacity. He's saying, what I got for you is big, but you need a bigger heart, a quieter spirit, a clearer mind to hold it. And I know it would be easier to let go, to say maybe it wasn't meant to be, to shrink your dream down to the size of your disappointment. But hear me, don't give up just because it's taking time. The best things, they take time to build, not just in the world, but inside you. So breathe, cry if you need to, rest if your soul is tired. But don't stop, because the thing about the wait is, it's always moving you, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when you can't measure it. It's shaping how you trust. It's clearing out what you don't need. It's planting something deeper than a dream. It's planting faith that holds. And one day the door's gonna open. And your part three, silent progress, when growth happens in the dark. Let me talk to the ones who've been making moves behind the scenes, the ones building quietly, praying when nobody sees, showing up when it ain't glamorous, keeping the vision alive even when the world stopped clapping. You might feel unseen, but baby, you are not unproductive. See, we live in a time where everybody wants to show the glow up, but nobody talks about the silent growth. That painful, private, non-postable process where God works on your roots before he ever shows your fruit. That's where real transformation happens, in the dark. Not in the applause, not on the platform, not when the check clears or the crowd stands. It happens when you're still, when you're unsure, when your only audience is heaven and your only reward is peace. You ever plant something? You don't dig it up every day just to see if it's growing. You water it, you trust it, you wait. because growth takes depth before height. And that's what God is doing with you. He's taking you deeper before he takes you higher. He's expanding your roots before he extends your reach, because surface success is fragile, but a rooted life, that's storm-proof. So if you feel buried right now, let me flip your perspective. You're not buried. You're planted. That pressure you feel, that's the soil closing around you. That loneliness, that's the quiet needed to protect the process. That tension, that's your foundation being stretched to carry what's coming. You don't need to go viral to be valuable. You don't need a spotlight to be solid. You don't need permission to grow. God's been watching you behind the curtain. He sees your effort. He sees your sacrifice. He sees your yes when nobody's looking. And trust me, nothing you've done in private is wasted. He's been using it to sharpen you, to mature you, to shape you. Because the next version of you, the one that's gonna walk into the thing you've been waiting for, that version needs this version to go through the dirt first. So don't rush out of the quiet. Don't beg for the light too soon. Because when the time is right, you won't just grow, you'll bloom. And it won't be noisy, it'll be undeniable. Keep building silently, keep growing faithfully, keep showing up even when no one's watching. Because one day, the world won't ask how you got there. They'll ask, where have you been hiding? And you'll smile, because you'll know, I wasn't hiding, I was growing. Part 4, divine timing, when it happens, exactly when it's supposed to. Let's have a real talk moment. We've all looked at the clock, the calendar, the age, the season, and thought, I should have been further by now. You ever feel that? You look around, and it seems like everybody else got a head start. They're building families, launching businesses, signing deals, posting highlight reels, and you're sitting there wondering if you missed your window. But listen to me, and listen good. You're not late. You're right on time. Because when God sets a time, he don't use your watch. He don't scroll through your feed for comparison. He don't run on culture's deadlines. He moves on purpose. And baby, purpose is never rushed. You see, divine timing ain't about convenience. It's about alignment. It's about who you are when the thing shows up. Not just what you're waiting on, but who you become by the time it arrives. Sometimes God don't give you the blessing right away because he knows if he gave it too soon, you might break it. Or worse, it might break you. That relationship you thought you lost, that job you didn't get, that door that slammed in your face, it wasn't punishment, it was protection. Because what's truly yours can't be delayed forever. It might get rerouted, it might get refined, but it will not get lost. You think the delay means no, but sometimes it means not yet. Because the season you're in now, it's not idle, it's intentional. It's preparing you to handle the blessing so you don't fumble it when it finally shows. God's not just working on the what, he's working on the when. And when his timing meets your transformation, oh, that's when things shift. That's when open doors don't scare you. That's when favor doesn't overwhelm you. That's when you don't sabotage what you prayed for. So stop counting the years. Stop calculating your worth by what hasn't happened yet. Start paying attention to who you're becoming, because the wait isn't a detour. It's a divine one. And when the time is right, not when it's fast, not when it's flashy, but when it's right, you'll walk through a door so perfectly timed that you'll realize, had it come sooner, I wouldn't have been ready. You're not behind, you're in process. You're not stuck, you're in preparation. You're not forgotten, you're on heaven's schedule. And trust me, that schedule never late. Part 5, peace over pressure. Choosing calm in a world that wants you rush. Let's slow this down for a minute. You ever notice how everybody's in a hurry? Scroll faster, respond quicker, achieve more in less time. It's like the world handed us a stopwatch instead of a soul. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life sprinting, not toward purpose, but away from peace. See, we glorify grind. We reward burnout. We make people feel guilty for taking a breath. But let me tell you what wisdom taught me. Every blessing ain't urgent. Every dream don't have to be rushed. And peace don't live in pressure. It lives in presence. You can be busy and still be empty. You can be booked and still feel broken. You can look successful and still be out of sync. Because the truth is, hustle might get you applause, but peace will get you rest. Peace will keep your mind clear. Peace will remind you that you're already enough. And in the waiting season, you gotta choose. Do you want public validation or private peace? Because they don't always live in the same place. Some of y'all are trying so hard to prove you're not behind that you're running past the very life God's trying to give you. Let me say that again. You're moving so fast to get there, you're missing the here. And the here, that's where the presence is. That's where the growth is. That's where the quiet lessons live. It's okay to pause. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to not be everything for everybody. You don't have to keep up. You have to keep aligned. So if the world's rushing you, let it. If people question your pace, smile and bless them. If someone else's journey is moving faster, wish them well and keep walking. Because your peace, that's your power. And when you protect it, when you choose calm over chaos, stillness over speed, you make room for clarity, for joy, for direction. So today, I dare you to choose peace, even if they don't understand it, even if it's not popular, even if it means saying no when they expect yes.
Because your future, it doesn't depend on how loud you move. It depends on how grounded you stay. And when peace leads, pressure loses every time.
Part 6, faith in the fall. Trusting when you can't see the way. Let's talk about the moments where the path disappears. You were walking fine, you had momentum, clarity, direction, then suddenly fall. Thick, silent, confusing. And you're asking yourself, what happened? One day you were sure. Now you're second guessing every move. That's not failure, that's not punishment, that's not you falling apart. That's called the faith stretch. See, we love to walk by faith as long as we can still see the road. But real faith, that's when there's no GPS, no signs, no guarantees, just God. And let me be honest, it's scary when you can't see what's ahead, but you still gotta move. When your heart says go, but your mind says, what if I get it wrong? But hear me, clarity is a gift, trust is a choice. And in the fog, trust is all you got. You don't need the full picture, you just need the next step. And maybe that's why God allowed the fog in the first place, not to confuse you, but to clear out all the voices that were never meant to guide you. Because fog humbles you, it quiets you, it brings you back to the basics, back to, Lord, I don't know what's next, but I trust you. You might not feel bold, you might not feel brave, but every time you take a step in faith, that's boldness. Every time you don't quit in the dark, that's courage. And let me remind you, God ain't never needed clarity to bless you. He don't need you to have it all figured out. He just needs your yes. He just needs your trust. So if the road ahead looks blurry, that doesn't mean turn back. It means walk slower, pray deeper, listen closer, because the fog don't last forever. Eventually it lifts, and when it does, you'll realize you were moving forward the whole time. You weren't stuck, you were guided. And the steps you took in the fog, those will be the ones that built your faith for everything that comes after. So don't fear the fog, don't curse the confusion, don't quit just because you can't see the whole staircase. Take the step, say the prayer, trust the process, because faith ain't about feeling ready, it's about moving, even when you're not. Part 7, becoming while you wait. You're not the same person who started this journey. Sometimes the wait isn't about what's coming, it's about what's changing in you while you wait. See, we think we're waiting on the job, the answer, the relationship, the miracle, but often heaven's watching how we're growing before we ever get there. You're not the same person who started this thing. You may have started with high hopes, but you stayed when hope got heavy. You may have started full of vision, but you kept moving when the picture faded. That's not weakness, that's transformation. Because strength don't come from what shows up. It comes from what you endure. Growth don't come with applause. It comes in the silent, private places where you didn't quit. Let me remind you of something real simple. Be proud of who you're becoming. You've carried things that tried to break you. You've walked through days that drained you, and you still got up, still believed, still whispered. Maybe tomorrow. That's not small, that's sacred. And in the process, you've gained things the world can't take. You've learned resilience. You've discovered peace. You've unlearned people-pleasing. You've redefined success from something public to something personal. This wait, as hard as it's been, has made you wiser, softer, stronger. You don't react like you used to. You don't chase like you did. You sit different. You trust deeper. You breathe slower. That's called maturity. And baby, it looks good on you. You thought you were just sitting still, but heaven was rewriting your posture. Because where you're going, you need more than strategy. You need stability. And the person you're becoming in this season, that's the person who's gonna carry the next one with grace. So take a moment to notice your own growth, not the highlight reel, just heartache when it finally comes. How to walk through the door you waited for. Now this is the moment you didn't quit for. The one you prayed for in silence. The one you couldn't always see, but you believed in anyway. After all the stillness, all the struggle, all the soul stretching in the dark, the door finally opens. But now comes a new question. How do you walk through it? Because let's be real, sometimes when the answer finally shows up, we don't know how to receive it. We second guess it. We question if we're ready. We start asking, what if I mess this up? But baby, you didn't come this far to shrink. You didn't wait this long to walk in small. You didn't grow this much to doubt the growth. You're ready, not because it feels easy, but because your spirit got the muscle now. Your faith's been tested. Your roots run deep. You've learned how to stand still. You've learned how to hear God over noise. You've learned how to be led instead of pushed. That blessing that's showing up, it's not a surprise. It's a harvest. And it's okay to celebrate. It's okay to smile without apologizing. It's okay to say, this was worth it. But here's what I want you to remember as you step into what you prayed for. 1, stay humble. Don't let the success undo what the silence taught you. Keep the gratitude. Keep the grounding, keep the God-first mindset. 2, stay present. Don't rush into the next milestone. Sit in the moment. Let your heart catch up to your life. Tour. Stay generous. What you walk through, somebody else is walking through now. Your story is their survival manual. Be the light you needed. And lastly, stay aligned. You didn't get here by accident. So don't start operating like it was luck. It was purpose. It was obedience. It was process. And the you that stands in this room, You're not a product of shortcuts. You're a product of surrender. So take your time, own your space. Thank God for every no that protected you, every delay that shaped you, every tear that didn't drown you, because the weight didn't waste you, it made you. And now that you're here, step boldly, step gratefully, step fully. The wait is over, and so is the version of you who thought they wouldn't make it. Welcome to your next level. You've earned every inch of it.